All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive concept from a 1937 classic and figuring out how abstract thoughts can literally transform into physical reality. We're going to look at the exact blueprint used by some of history's most successful people to turn their intangible ideas into very tangible wealth and success. So, we're looking directly at Napoleon Hill's foundational text, Think and Grow Rich. And what's truly fascinating here is that this wasn't just some random collection of shower thoughts. Not at all. It was meticulously organized through 25 years of intense research. Hill collaborated with over 500 incredibly wealthy men, literal titans of industry, who proved through their own lives that this philosophy is 100% practical. And to really grasp the immense historical weight of Hill's work right out of the gate, get this, it comes with a personal endorsement from a former president of the United States. William Howard Taft praised the splendid work Hill did in organizing this, quote, common sense philosophy. That really grounds our explainer today in absolute, unquestionable credibility. Now, since we're distilling a pretty dense philosophical textbook today, here is our roadmap. We'll start with how thoughts become things, move into the power of desire, explore the danger of quitting, outline 6 actionable steps, dive into the subconscious, and finally, look at a billion-dollar case study. All right, Section 1, Thoughts Become Physical Things, the radical premise of mind over matter. So Hill makes this wild argument that your brain actually becomes magnetized by the dominating thoughts you hold in your mind. By some mechanism we might not completely understand, these mental magnets literally attract the forces, people, and circumstances that harmonize with those thoughts. Think about it. If you constantly think in terms of success, you attract it. But if you're always thinking about failure, well, you're going to attract that instead. Moving on to Section 2, the power of burning desire. This is the absolute catalyst for achievement. Hill emphasizes that this is not just a mere wish or a hope. Honestly, wishing alone will not bring you riches. Desire is a state of mind where you literally burn your ships and cut all sources of retreat. It's like a great warrior who burns his own boats upon reaching enemy shores. You leave yourself with zero choice. You either win or you perish. That is the exact level of intensity required. Section 3, Stopping 3 feet from gold. The incredible danger of temporary defeat. To truly understand the power of desire, we have to see what happens when it completely fades. The contrast here is just staggering. On one side, Edwin C. Barnes had a burning obsession to be a business partner with Thomas Edison. He had no money, he looked like a tramp, but he burned his bridges, hopped a freight train, and absolutely refused to quit until he became Edison's partner. But on the flip side, look at R.U. Darby. He literally struck gold. But when the vein temporarily dried up, his desire just vanished. He quit, sold his machinery to a junkman, who then hired an engineer and found the vein just 3 feet from where Darby stopped. Literally 3 feet from a massive fortune. But here's the kicker. Darby actually learned from this massive failure. He eventually figured out how to sell $1 million in life insurance annually, all because he remembered this crazy event. He once watched a young tenant child completely master his fierce, bad-tempered uncle through pure, unyielding desire. She demanded 50 cents, refused to back down when threatened, and just screamed for it until the adult yielded. Darby used that exact same defiance, that exact energy, every single time a prospect told him no. Which brings us to Section 4, 6 definite steps to riches, the actionable formula for success. Okay, so how do we actually apply this kind of unwavering desire to our own lives? Well, here's your master takeaway. 6 precise steps. You have to fix an exact amount. You can't just say, I want money. You must figure out exactly what you'll give in return, because there's no such thing as something for nothing, right? Set a date, make a plan, write the whole thing down, and, this is crucial, read it aloud twice daily. These steps were actually reviewed and approved by Thomas Edison himself. No backbreaking labor required, just a radical, complete shift in your mindset. Section 5, Faith and the Subconscious. The accelerator of desire. Now, to successfully pull off those 6 steps, especially that last part about reading your statement and visualizing success, you need an accelerator. Hill calls this faith. Not necessarily in a religious sense, but as the head chemist of the mind. It's this internal chemistry that translates your thoughts into their spiritual equivalent, connecting them with infinite intelligence. And the beautiful thing is, it's a state of mind that you can intentionally induce. You get that faith through something called autosuggestion. by constantly feeding your subconscious mind the highly emotionalized belief that you already possess your goal. Your mind eventually accepts it as an absolute truth. From there, it just goes to work, translating that impulse into physical reality using whatever practical means are available. But hold on, we have to be incredibly careful here. Your subconscious mind doesn't discriminate at all. It will build a reality out of your deepest fears and doubts just as fast as it will build one from your courage. This is literally why so many people complain about having bad luck. They're unknowingly feeding their subconscious a non-stop diet of negative thoughts. To prove the sheer power of this, Hill actually tested it on his own son, who was born without any physical sign of ears. Doctors told him the boy would be a deaf mute for life. But Hill flat out refused to accept that. He relentlessly planted a burning desire to hear directly into the boy's mind. And because the boy believed his father implicitly, that implanted faith miraculously led him to intuitively discover a bone conduction hearing aid. He went on to build a lifelong career helping the hard of hearing. Nature literally yielded to a burning desire. Finally, Section 6, a billion-dollar idea, the ultimate proof of the philosophy. Get this. The massive United States Steel Corporation wasn't mapped out in some stuffy corporate boardroom. It was conceived entirely in the imagination of a 38-year-old guy named Charles M. Schwab. In December of 1900, Schwab gave a single, passionate 90-minute speech at a dinner party. In that hour and a half, he managed to convince the fiercely independent Andrew Carnegie to sell and the immensely powerful J.P. Morgan to consolidate the entire steel industry. That single, hyper-organized thought, backed by absolute faith, a concrete plan, and a burning desire, birthed U.S. Steel. It transformed an idea into a staggering $1 billion reality. Schwab literally thought $1 billion into existence. How unbelievable is that? As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to remember Hill's profound realization. Success requires no apologies, and failure permits no alibis. Both of these outcomes are entirely rooted in your own state of mind. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul, purely because you possess the power to control your own thoughts. So, I'll leave you with this final question to chew on. Knowing the incredible power of your mind to magnetize and attract reality, what is the definite major purpose in your life that you are finally ready to burn your ships for? Because once you figure that out, you've taken your very first step to riches.